Look at all those people who are just literally stranded with no food, no water.
Where's people? Where's the mayor? We need some help out here.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky.
I think people want to feel that they can make decisions based on information they can trust. Every day we are bombarded with information and disinformation. There's rumors, there's gossip, there's advertising out there. And people are hungry to understand what information can they believe, what information can they trust. And this course is designed to give people the tools to wade through all of that information so that they can figure out on their own what to trust, what to believe, so that they can make smart decisions as news consumers.
News literacy is the ability to decide for yourself whether the news reports you receive, whether they come from television, the internet, newspapers, or magazines, whether those reports are reliable. And by reliable, I mean whether you can act on the information. Can you take an action? Can you reach a conclusion? Can you make a judgment? Or is the information suspect or insufficient, and how do you know? Essentially, this is a course and a program about critical thinking, citizenship, and the importance of the press. And ultimately, we think that it's relevant for every single person in the information age to be able to have these skills and these values.
I do think it's an important class. I think that everybody should be an active news consumer and be aware of what's going on in the world.
They're going to learn how to read a newspaper article. They're going to learn how to watch a TV piece. They're going to learn the tools that reporters use to communicate information, and they're going to learn to be discriminating about the kind of information that they receive. They're going to be able to critically look at pieces of journalism and know what to trust and what not to trust, what to be critical of and what not to be critical of. They're going to learn to sort of be a little bit skeptical, but also a little bit knowledgeable.
You know, whenever I'm reading or I'm watching the TV news now, I'm always asking myself a lot more questions. I'm kind of looking at it more critically. I'm kind of evaluating the source. Like, is the story really being fair? Is it biased? I'm definitely asking myself a lot more questions than I used to, where I kind of was just like a mindless. I would just kind of look at it and like accept it. Now I kind of I kind of inquire more as to what's really going on.
In this day and age, there's a tremendous amount of information that's coming at these students from a wide variety of directions. And a lot of it can't be trusted, a lot of it is not verifiable, a lot of it is confusing.
It is so easy to get lost in this avalanche of digital information that's hitting us 24/7. It's important students are able to first, before anything else, locate the journalism neighborhood. That means distinguishing the journalism neighborhood from the propaganda neighborhood, the advertising neighborhood, the entertainment neighborhood, the neighborhood where unfiltered information is just coursing through the internet. This is a big problem, and it's growing more difficult to distinguish between these forms. The news media is the world's largest school of continuing education. People will learn about the world. They'll make a variety of decisions about their life. What medication to take, what company to invest in, what candidate to vote for, what do they think of their neighbors, based on information they get in the news media. And if they can't critically examine that information and decide what information is reliable enough to act on, they're going to make mistakes in their personal life. And collectively, as a society, we're going to make a lot of bad decisions. So I think the future of democracy really depends on this. We are not teaching people to believe anything in particular. We're teaching them how to decide for themselves what to believe. We show them examples of very good journalism in our view. We show them stories that we feel are weak, suspect, that are filled with references that are not supported. And we want them to understand the difference between a well-documented, verifiable, fair story and a story that's not, so they can spot it themselves. Here are a few of the crucial points that we emphasize in news literacy. What's the difference between news and opinion? What specific rules can a smart news consumer use to judge the reliability of sources who are quoted in a story? How can a news consumer weigh and assess the evidence that is presented in a story? How can news consumers take advantage of the power of the internet and yet not be deceived by bad and unsubstantiated information? How can news consumers differentiate between possible news media bias and their own bias? We need to step back and push consumers to think about their own biases as well, and to understand that one of the great obstacles to becoming a better news consumer is being open to information that challenges your own belief system.
This course, you take experience away with you, and I find that experience is more of something that you acquire in real life and not necessarily just in school. But this, I'm going to keep it for life.
I'm quite worried for those who graduated college without this class. I think that every college graduate should be required.
I'm an international student, so I would like to tell my friends way back home too that how important it is to be a good news consumer. That's what I've learned from this class, to be a good news consumer.
I can't imagine a citizen of the information age surviving without being able to practice the principles of news literacy.